and welcome to another episode of More Than Dice. John's just coming back, but I'm Gonzo.
I'm John.
As John yells across the house.
Oh, it was really perfect.
I didn't really yell. I actually raised my voice. It was right there.
Not a screamy yell.
Hey guys, if you're watching us and listening to us, or watching us on Twitch right now, we did implement a bunch of commands. You can do exclamation point commands to see all of them are out there. We make sure that we implemented all the timers. So if that goes off or is a little weird, let us know. Keep us informed. We don't want to spam y'all with anything, but if you want to do some fun stuff or just see what things are going on, we did that. It was requested. So yes.
No, it's pink Legionnaires.
Let's see. So we got that going.
I did color my hair. So no one asked me what I did this week. I colored my hair.
I thought that was obvious.
I did implement a new extension on Twitch, but I turned it off, or it should be off. You should not be seeing the D&D one on Twitch because there is a new D&D campaign coming up, probably starting probably beginning of next month. Myself, Rebecca, Banky, Jackie, Captain Mizzy, and Josh will be playing the rhyme of the whatever it is.
The rhyme of the whatever it is. You heard it here first.
Oh God, folks. What is that? What is it?
COVID brain again. COVID Brian, as he wrote.
So all I can think of is like the rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, but I don't think that's it.
Rhyme of the Frost Maiden. Sorry.
That kind of rhyme.
Rhyme of the Frost Maiden.
Who's playing Minsk? The first thing I thought was who's playing Minchinos when I saw you type that Banyan, which makes more sense for Vlieger Dragon and I than anybody else in this chat right now. Probably.
Do you mean Minsk or do you mean Minsk?
Minsk. Big Minsk.
Minsk. A town in...
Oh no, it's got a C, not a K.
It's sort of a...
Minsk and Boo.
Not in the Ukraine. Lithuania? Oh my gosh. Now I have to Google it.
So hopefully that's taken care of. Hopefully you shouldn't see that on Twitch stream, but if you do, let me know.
Belarus.
It'll have because we have our character stats up there, so you can see our stuff and hit points and everything. But that's not going to go live till later.
With no H, rhyme, not rhyme.
Other than that,
Van, I will walk downstairs and stab you. Stab you. Like literally.
The Rhine probably has a lovely moon path. I'm just saying.
Do not encourage him, Kathy. I will fucking hear it all night and I will have to shoot him. No, Captain. No, it's not puns. Oh, motherfucker, you think I'm joking. Give me a moment.
John's gonna go down and stab somebody
with the moon pie
while John's down there stabbing Banyan. Let's talk about our sponsors. We want to thank Muson Minis for hosting our file and putting it out there and putting it out to everybody. We also want to thank Creature Caster, which is going to be one of the things we're going to talk about because we are a creature curator. We want to thank Metalhead Minis. Lynn is doing some awesome work, guys. She's also hosting our store, so you can buy some of our products. You can hit the exclamation point merch, and you can see the link to our store. And anything you buy there goes directly straight into our podcast, so we can buy better equipment, upgrades, you name it. And then we got Tectonic Crest Studios. Dan the man. I'm just picturing in my head John rucking down there and stabbing Banyan real quick.
Real quick.
And then
I'll be back.
Go check out Dan. I'm sure he could use some help during this COVID time. Buy some cool little terrain from him. So, other than that, John, do we have any tributes today?
Let's see, Banyan.
R.I.P. Banyan.
No. Eddie Van Halen passed this week.
Did.
After a long battle with throat cancer.
Yep.
And then also Gene Deitch, who was the creator of Tom and Jerry and Popeye.
I saw that too, which I thought was interesting. I was like, he was like 90 something though, wasn't he? So I mean, he was.
He was 96-ish.
So he lived a really good long life.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Eddie was only, 65?
Yeah,
But,
he wasn't.
I mean, cancer's a motherfucker. It'll take anyone that don't care.
Yeah. So, with that, Kathy, what are you drinking tonight?
I am drinking rum and Coke.
Yep, rum wins.
Rum wins.
John, what are you drinking tonight?
I have an actual dark in store me, which, if you're wondering, is a little bit of lime juice with Kraken rum and ginger beer in this case.
Ooh, that sounds good.
That didn't sound bad. Tonight, I have been pretty dehydrated because I went and worked more on my tattoo on my left leg. And so, of course, that is, going to be something I have to get extra fluids in my body because my bottom of my left leg, my calf and everything, and my ankle are swollen up like crazy. So I'm going to be drinking water tonight. So, guys, please take care of yourself out there. Look after each other. See something going on, report it. See something that shouldn't happen, step in and help. Make sure you check on your friends. Go up there and say hi to them and, send a quick message. I hadn't heard from one of my friends and checked up on her and said, hey, how you doing? She's like, I'm doing great. Thanks for checking up on me. I appreciate it. It doesn't have to be anything big. Just say, hey, how's it going? Doing that. We are going to be having a petition up pretty soon to see if John will wear his new mask one entire podcast.
I think he would die of heat stroke if he tried that.
He wouldn't die from that mask.
No, I mean...
Tie a string to it.
There's no place to tie the strings.
You make a
glue it to my face?
Yeah, you just glue it to your face.
Drill it out.
So, guys...
I mean, technically, you could get that glue they use for makeup and all, for yeah, and I could, stick it to my face. That'd be mildly uncomfortable.
Just drill it out
I mean,
at the temples.
So everyone can get. I mean, it looks.
And I think she he should put he should do the black eye makeup so it's all blackened in like Batman and such, and so he has to wear that.
Oh yeah.
The problem with that, Gonzo, is I cannot do the chat. I cannot read chat.
You can't. Yeah.
I cannot
no
read
glasses.
more than dice on the screen.
I would be hopeless.
Minis. I can't read shit without my glasses. Hey, shocking! My eyes are fucked up.
That's how I am with because I put that other one on. The mask that Gonzo sent me is really cool. I want to paint that up, but I cannot see anything.
Oh yeah, you can't see anything out of these.
I mean,
without my it fits well, but I'd have to take my glasses off, and so therefore, yeah.
I mean, technically, I could just take an old pair of glasses and put the lenses in there, but that's either going to be really half-assed and still hard to read, or not work very well, or maybe both.
I need to finish painting this up though. I need to paint that up. My
only we had a podcast where we painted.
Yeah, no shit. Let's go ahead and finish it up though, guys. Please take care of yourself out there. Everybody, cheers.
Cheers. Oh man, that's tasty. I'm telling you, Captain Mizzy, this is the only drink I actually measure out.
I've rescued this Coke that was absent rum.
An Infinitely Gauntlet bust? Are you wanting the bust of Thanos, or you just want a gauntlet?
Fixed it.
Because I actually have a file down, and I haven't sliced it up yet, but it is a complete, fully functioning, working, and wearable Infinity Gauntlet. So, we're going to do that.
You know what would be cooler than that is a Witchblade gauntlet.
Oh, Witchblade.
Ooh, that's something I haven't heard of in a long time.
That'd be cool.
All right, I'm going to switch over to this.
Obi-Wan. There's a name I have not heard in a long time.
All right.
Someone said that at work when I responded to something I imagine you doing that in your best Obi-Wan voice. Then I hear from a cube over one of our people who's Obi-Wan? And I'm like,
what?
I can't even with you right now. Oh. Hey, it's a Necron.
Either of those would be awesome, yeah.
Which, by the way, I put together the Silent King model, And fuck that model, by the way.
Okay, noted. Silent King, fuck him.
The models, okay, rules awesome. Putting it together sucks balls.
Oh, I could swear that there were 2 other people complaining about that over
Oh,
the course of this weekend.
it
Would not
sucked.
shock me at all.
Ooh, 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 ooh. I know some people didn't get to see this one, but check out this motherfucker.
Hmm.
I really like this guy. He came out really well.
Oh, I think. So Gonzo knows what I'm breaking open in this bag here. I'm actually going to take a picture beforehand for my hobby streak. But,
Do I need to change the resolution or change the size of your?
ooh, Monday just got shitty. All right. Well, no. Because I'm going to, with these, I mean, you know what it is. I mean, unfortunately, it looks like one of the legs busted a little bit, Gonzo. I've got to glue it back.
Oh, which one? What are we talking about?
This thing.
One of the legs broke?
Oh, yeah. Just right here.
Let me see. Hold it up. I can't see it. Let's see.
Right here.
Oh, man. Okay, yeah, I can glue that. That's not going to be a problem.
Yeah, the glue's fine.
Yeah.
The other one's fine. The other leg,
Fine.
you know. I like how it's got the clips here. So you could theoretically have it movable.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if they're going to work. I feel like they're going to be a little weak at it right yet.
Vinion wants to know what that is.
I don't know. What is that? I mean, hold on.
You didn't show them all your toys you got?
Here's the front part of it.
Hold on. Let me make it really big for him.
I mean, goes together and looks like that. I don't know. So it could be some sort of BattleTech model, maybe. You know, something there with this weird bulbous cockpit. I don't know.
Well, it doesn't have like some like shoulder mounted things.
Oh yeah, it's got these cool missile pods that go on the shoulders. It's got 2 of them, one for each shoulder, almost like ears, like big ears that go up on top. You know, these weapon pod arms, they're very distinctive, don't you think, with the hexagonal shape? You know, pretty cool.
For everybody
I
that's
guess,
listening,
that is
If those of you listening, it's
excellent.
a Timberwolf, aka Mad Cat, from BattleTech.
So for John's birthday, I was trying to print off him that Doctor Doom mask, and it failed. It was a 48-hour print, and it failed at like
Vinion
day 1.5.
wants. He wants.
Banyan wants one of those Mad Cats.
If we knew.
What?
Mother of God, he said, I want one.
I'll have to
Madre
print
de
one out.
Dios.
I've got the files, and
cat
they're
is
printed
mad.
up and ready.
He Trasharama.
So,
That cat is mad. Very mad.
you should put it together and show us how big it is.
Whoa, I mean, it's a family stream, isn't it? No, not really.
Hey, Kathy, remember this guy right here? I know we're supposed to be painting, but you remember this guy right here?
I can't see. The
Jester?
Jester?
This is how they want me to model it and put it on the base. They want me to put it and balance it like this.
How, in physics name, is it supposed to...
Yeah.
Oh, the physics got nothing to do with that, Kathy.
Wait, it's supposed to go on the toe post?
No, it's supposed to go on the bells. It's supposed to lean on the bells. And I'm like, what? So what I'm going to actually do, because we were talking...
They might as well just ask you to make it floating an inch above the base.
Well, what I'm going to do is I have a couple of brass rods, and I'm going to run a brass rod right up his ass and put it and drill it into the base, because here's the base.
Is that a brass rod or an ass rod then?
It's going to be an ass rod. It's going to be a brass ass rod. And I'm going to have him floating, and just have it where his, the blade is just barely touching.
I would have maybe drilled into his... See, I don't have that blade. I just have the toe.
Correct. Well, when I printed that off for you, that's the size that they suggested I printed at.
It's so
tiny.
It's super tiny, and I can see that there are parts that are so fragile that they either just immediately break when you're trying to take the supports off.
Yeah, because originally I thought the toe, this right here, wasn't a blade. I thought it was a support, so I cut it off for you. But then the blade that's on the foot, I was like, oh, that's not a support. That's a blade.
And I'm sitting here looking at it going, there's no way that could be a blade. Where is it even coming out? Does it just come out of his heel? Does it
Yep.
come out of the bottom of his foot? Because it's not coming out of the toe of his slipper. Like, what exactly is going on with that blade? There's my critique.
Yeah.
Well, part of it. I could go on.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put a brass rod right down the center of it, and when I paint it, and then I'm gonna stick it on the base and have him just like have it where it's just barely touching the base, and then that's gonna be what it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Um, and then of course, for people that can see it, the mummy that I printed out, and she's super legit with the sword sticking through her chest. Or
See, that's what I was
armor.
thinking, Banyan. Running a pin through his foot and into the top of the tombstone and having him just sort of his toe touching the tombstone.
So, but this was the model that I'm gonna paint. It's Flamecia. Make sure I'm always on stream because it's kind of. And it's a lady with a flame whip, and she's got back here. She got her second flame whip here, one flame whip, and her
So is there going to be
dress
a
is
lot of
flames.
object source lighting here going on?
I'm gonna try, Kathy. I'm gonna try.
There's no try.
It's do or do not.
Yes.
So, but that's the reason why I wanted to do this because I want to do it, and I want to say paint like you, but use your techniques that you've done before, and see how that is. There's some. I cleaned off my desk today, so it's kind of a little dusty. But she's got a flame whip here, and then she's got a rolled up flame whip here, and then her dress actually has flames on it too, along this edge and along this edge.
That seems like it'd be very fun to paint.
That's the reason why I was like, I want to do this one. So,
like a challenge, but fun.
Correct. And you know what? I usually don't paint models unless they're like for a game. So this is something different for me. So I kind of want to do this. I, want to get this and kind of see how it's going to work and such. And hopefully it, looks decent. So I have my first gray. Can I just dry brush this all over?
Yes.
Okay. So let's go. I'm going to go do that, and that's going to take a little while and everything. So while we do that, let's talk about what are you going to do? Band list first or the Judgement discussion first?
So we should just to start out with say that Gonzo is doing this, what I like to call half-ass Zenithal, which is dry brushing the hell out of the model with a lighter gray color. So he's starting out with a black primer. He's going to be dry brushing this medium value sort of gray color
Dark,
onto
warm
it,
gray.
and that's how I tend to start most of my models. So he's going to be doing that today.
Yeah, so it's a dark, warm gray. That's the pro acrylic version, which of course we all love their paints.
And it should be noted that in order to do the half-as Zenithal, it's all about the values of between light and dark. So it really doesn't matter necessarily the color that you're using. You can use straight up gray. You can use a warm gray. You can use a cool gray. You can use a blue gray, a green gray, a brownish gray. As long as the value of the color is sort of a mid-tone, which is to say sort of halfway between white and black. If you can imagine, a value that's sort of halfway between the lightest and the darkest.
I mean, because I really, like I said, I've got another light gray, which is the graphite by Scale Color, and then a light and neutral gray, and then the titanium white. And both of those are pro acryls. So, I mean, because I really want the flame to really, really stand out on this because it's such a prominent feature and so on and so forth on this model. So,
perhaps it's a little bit of both. The half-ass Amazon.
Yeah, they go hand in hand. Trash, half-ass, and Zenithal.
Or side by side.
Or side by side. Halfway, but not half-ass. So you can see a stark difference in value already, right? And that's what you want. You want to be able to see a difference. You don't want a gray that's so dark that you can barely tell that it's there. Hey, Sarge.
I need some more blue tack underneath this because it's moving around a lot.
See, now our command for hugs has Streamlabs hugging Sarge. instead of having Captain Mizzy hugging Sarge. That's the craziness of commands. When we're just learning how to do the command thing.
John, are you sanding?
Yeah, a little bit.
John
Okay.
has the mask on. He must be sanding.
Oh, I didn't. Okay, I can't see my screen, so while we're streaming, so
Okay, so now that you're on your way with your dry brushing of your stuff, we can start talking about our topic, our
okay.
other topic.
So let's go with the creature caster slash judgment discussion because okay, Judgment is a game that is a MOBA style miniature game. They make amazing models. Um, their models are 75 millimeter, I think is what it was. Is what they are.
I think
And
so.
They're 54 millimeter.
are they 54? They're big. I mean, they're huge.
So they're old Inquisitor scale then.
Yeah,
yes.
they're 54 scale.
And they're great models. There's nothing wrong with their models. They're just for a miniature game when you need 5 to 12, depending on what type of thing you're playing, you're paying 50 to 70 bucks a model. So that was like a turn on for some people, turn off for some people, which I can understand. I don't have an issue with that. But they recently announced that they are partnering up with Creature Caster, and Creature Caster is going to be doing their models now. And on top of that, the models are getting scaled down. They're
going down to 32 millimeter.
Yes.
So Marvel Crisis Protocol scale.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but their reason for that is that it allows for larger models like trolls, like giants, like dragons.
Yeah, because they definitely said they wanted to do
54
dragons.
millimeter. If you have a dragon, that dragon's going to be
fucking huge.
2 feet
Yeah.
high. Yeah. So now that it's scaled down, you can have a dragon. It's going to be a reasonable size for a tabletop war game.
But I think it's interesting that I wouldn't say Creature Caster makes great models, so I can see them teaming up with Creature Caster. Their resin's good. The models, their sculpting's really good. So I don't see a major issue with them or whatever. Now, some people are upset because they are changing the way the looks. They're resculpting all the original models and making new models for them.
Which they kind of have to do because a model that was scaled for 54 is not going to look right just scaled down.
Correct.
No matter what you might think. It'd be okay, but it's really, if you're putting out a product and you're doing this, do you want okay or do you want good?
Correct. And Creature Caster, of course, is going to do a good. They're going to do a good model. They've already shown
they're
a few.
They're going to do a fantastic model. I'm pretty sure.
The point I was getting to is not like they're going to half-ass a model.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they've got a few out that they've already shown. This is the new release of this model, and such. Some people are concerned that the models may get too sexualized because, of course, Creature Caster, some of their models are, topless and so on and so forth. But they're not, they're not like, what is that one game?
They don't feel compelled to do that.
Correct.
I mean, they can rein it in for, for what a game is.
Correct. They don't have to do it.
But they are making their models be playable in this game, aren't they? No, we're talking about Judgment.
Correct. The Judgment models that they've already got, and one of the things people were asking is, are my large scale models still playable? And they says yes, you can still play with your large scale models. They are not telling people no.
I imagine as long as they're on the correct base, because they're moving to hex based.
Well, yeah, and they said that it wouldn't matter if it's.
They always on a hex based system?
No, they were not. You're probably thinking of God Tier.
I am thinking of God Tier. Yeah, thank you.
God Tier did hex base. They moved by inches and such. So move into a hex base as long as the base can fit in the hex, which all their models can. They said there's not going to be any difference. You can still use those models. So I'm like, okay, as long as it'll look weird compared to the new models, of course, but they're remaking it's version 2 of their game, where the and instead of moving by inches, it'll be moved by hexes, which I can kind of see. We all want a clean game when we play, and if you just move by hexes, it really, there's no argument. If you're too close, too far away, or you mess up a measurement or whatever, or you bump a model, it's just there. So I don't see an issue with that. I'm optimistic for them. One, cool new models that are look really cool from Creature Caster. Yes, don't have a problem with that. A cleaner, more precise game. Yeah, no problem with that either.
They are going to be pretty models at
Oh,
32 millimeter, and they will probably, for ones that end up being more popular for in general, that people would want as display models, it would probably be easier based on how they sculpt them digitally for the models to then be produced at a larger scale for, display pieces as an option.
yeah. Well, one thing that you have to think about this, the standard game size is 5v5, so 5 models against 5 models. And if you think about it, if you're paying almost $50 a model, that's a pretty hefty price. And they've got like 30 models, 40 models in the game. So, I mean, you're going to be spending a lot of money. Now, when they drop these down to probably $17 to $20 a model, that's a more reasonable price for a game. Because that was one of the big turnoff points was the cost. They did say that they are doing something to people that have bought mats already, because the game is played on a mat and played on a circled playing surface. And they said they are going to be doing something for people that have already bought mats, and so they can get the other mats at probably at a cheaper rate, or get a discount.
That's cool. Well, hopefully they do something like Flames of War did, or the Battlefront did when they came out with the new edition of Flames of War. And basically, if people had the old rule book, they could just get the new rule book, and they're like, here you go.
Oh, just
I mean,
a
that
slot.
could be maybe not exactly what they're doing, but they could do something similar to that.
Yeah. They didn't say yet, but they said they are going to do something so people don't feel like they're cheated out of what they bought. Type thing. So, they did release a little bit of rules changes already for some of their most popular starter pieces. I didn't get a chance to do a compare of that, but I asked one of their big players that I know that plays the game a lot, and he says he's not seeing anything that he's concerned about on the game. He says that, of course, people are going to bitch and complain and whine because
there will always be people who do that.
Correct.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter what you do.
Correct. And the thing is we've got on top of that, gamers hate change. So, I mean, there's always that. But he says he didn't see anything and doesn't feel like anything is going to annoy him or turn him off from the game.
So as you're doing your half-as Zenithal here, you've moved to your lighter color, right?
Correct, a lighter gray.
So you want to keep an eye on where your light sources are, and you don't want to put this lighter gray overall over everything, because all it's going to do then is cover up your previous gray.
Well, I'm doing this one like really, really, really light because I have one more gray after this.
But you do also want to keep in mind of where your light is coming from, because it's supposed to sort of cheat the shading of it.
Yeah.
Yes. So light sources that are coming, typically they're coming from sort of above, and then you also have the ones coming from the flame whips. So you want to keep that in mind as you go, and those areas are going to be lighter. And like the tops, so see what you're doing with her leg?
Mm-hmm.
I would have not touched the calf with this color. I would have touched the top of her thigh because it faces upwards more a little bit, whereas her calf is basically perpendicular to the earth. So that's not going to get as much of the light that's coming from above. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Well, like I said, I have one more gray, so I'll definitely make sure that I put that lighter gray up here
Yeah.
instead of down here.
But these are the things when you're doing shading and highlighting. These are the things to
You got to think about.
consider that really make things look a little more three-dimensional.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and Legion, I understand. Warhammer Underworld is a great text-based game, and I think honestly, becoming a direct competitor for a GW game like that is potentially a horrible mistake.
I like their reasoning behind it. While they were saying it may have more of a feel of a board game when you're moving on hexes. However, if they want this game to be a competitive tournament game,
Which it
which
is.
is which is the direction that they want to go with it, then nobody's going to be able to fudge hexes. You can't just like measure it out and be like, well, this is just a little, let's just, you know, fudge it a few millimeters this way or that way. You can't do that. You're either in the hex space, you're not in that, or you're in that hex space, or you're not in that hex space. And there's no, oh, I bumped my model, it was here. And there's none of that, with that you get with X-wing kind of stuff.
Oh,
So
absolutely. It is definitely a cleaner way to play a game if they want it to be mainly made for tournaments. Absolutely. Cannot argue with that.
Yeah.
so I
Which,
felt like that
I
was a
think
good direction to go because they really wanted to be a more serious competitive tournament game.
honestly, that's the serious competitive sort of board miniature games, let's say, like that. That is actually a spot where there's not a lot of competition right now.
Yeah.
It is Warhammer Underworlds, and I don't think Crowmaster is still going, so I think it's Warhammer Underworlds.
yeah. Which, if y'all would like, I can talk to Jeff Golia. He's a good friend of mine, and if you'd like, we can get him on the podcast and we can talk about it.
Jeff Glee is another old Warhammer War Machine Hordes player and Warhammer player, I think, also.
Yeah, Jeff runs the JNAC, which is their Judgment North America tournament at Warfare Weekend, and him and I have got to be pretty close, and we watched. I've bought all of his models and talked to him and met him.
They live in Australia still?
He is still in Australia, but he is willing to come. I mean, he streamed a game of Judgment with one of him and one of the top Judgment players on Warfare Weekend. So if anybody would like, I mean, I can talk to him and see if we can get him on the show to have him, come
Sure.
and talk about stuff.
That would be cool.
I mean, he'd be a good guest as I mean, he's been on a ton of podcasts. I think he even had his own for a while there.
Yeah. So, I mean, we can get him on here. But
Yeah.
I think it's a good step for them because they are doing a new edition. Of course, because they're moving to, a higher, a smaller model and also a different system of measuring and movement, which I think is
it's
good.
time to do everything all at once. Like, don't ground like one change here, one change there. Just like new edition, here's all the changes.
Yeah, I imagine that's probably what's going to happen.
New edition, who
I'm
just
curious if it's going to be much more different, like War Cradle did with Wild West Exodus when they got it and came out with the new edition. I say new edition, but it's really just a new game.
Yeah. But I mean, Judgment's a good game. Judgment's a solid game. It's quick and easy. Don't need terrain. You just throw down the mat and you go. You don't have a ton of models. And with the price point going down, it's even better. They'll be able to pull more people into their game.
damn it.
What?
Trash Ramus says also Riot Quest uses hex-based moving too.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's not meant to be a competitive game. They've said that specifically.
Yeah. They do have competitive. They do have, like, I don't want to say tournaments, but they do have events for Riot Quest, but it's nothing serious, and it's not meant to be taken serious either. So.
Still, it is interesting that more games seem to be
Floating that
going
way.
to hex-based, which is interesting.
Yep.
To be fair, War Machine Hordes could almost go to hex based.
We had a discussion about that.
Super cereals.
All right, so that gray's done. So why don't we talk about
Marvel Crisis
Yeah, the
Protocol and their
restriction and
restricted
stuff.
and banned list.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
What do you want to say about it?
Well, I want to take it two folds because there's been some issues, or I should say, some people. We're gonna play. I'm not even playing devil's advocate, but you always have two discussions on this.
Wait, are
No,
you
no.
saying that there's people who are complaining about it?
Yes.
Internet?
Oh my gosh.
What?
What?
What with the whole, gamers don't like change and, how dare you get
Uh,
rid of my, favorite card.
I can't believe they're doing this. This doesn't bode well for the health of the game if they have to ban cards already. Yeah, I read a thread. Don't I didn't write it up, but yeah, that's
I
yeah.
mean,
I saw that. I'm like, dude, you don't even understand how these things work, do you?
no, I mean, every game does that. Every game goes through that. Every single game goes
Yeah.
through that.
So I mean, because you look at it two ways. One, they realize that these cards are a problem in competitive play. All these cards are only banned and restricted in narrative play. I think is what they call their tournament scene or whatever it is.
It's an organized play game.
Organized play, yes, that's what it was. I
Yeah.
couldn't remember what the word is. So these games are. You can't use those cards in organized play. And so I talked to one of my friends that is pretty big into Marvel Crisis Protocol and asked him about it. And he goes, no, those cards should be taken to organized play because they're broken. He says,
Yeah.
for fun play, no big deal.
Continue to womp ass on your friends
Correct.
in casual play with your beat stick cards. However, in organized play where they want people to have fun,
Oh, wow.
they're banning them.
I would say organized play where it's a much more likely time for people to not have fun because of due to the nature of people and being a little competitive.
Yeah.
See, and that's what they're trying to alleviate with this.
Indeed, it's a good idea.
They're trying to get
honestly-
rid of the broken stuff right off the bat and make it where, I wouldn't say even playing field, but they've noticed that all of these cards are ones that are always taken and overplayed and overdone and abused.
So
Yeah,
when
and
I first heard that they were doing banned and restricted, I was worried that there was going to be a character or something.
I
that
was too.
And I was like, uh-oh. And then I started reading it and I'm like, oh, okay. It's just some of the cards and some of the options.
and it's not even like a lot of cards.
Yeah.
No.
It's just a very few.
Yeah.
And some of them are restricted, which means they are not banned, but it
Oh.
restricts the amount of them in which you can use in a game.
Correct.
So here's the list. It is one banned card, the team tactic card drop off, which if I remember correctly, I saw people as soon as they saw it like abusing the fuck out of.
Oh, yeah.
And then from the restricted list, you can only play two of those cards, and they're all team tactic cards. It's Brace for Impact, Doom Prophecy, Field Dressing, Metapack, and Patch Up. Three of which are healing. The Doom Prophecy, I remember quickly, makes someone like fucking super duper offensive at the cost of their defense, which can be crazy good. And Brace for Impact, I think, is just when everyone plays because they hate getting train stomped on their face. But sometimes that's a legitimate tactic with another team. So it's not even like it's a ton of cards. There is one banned card. And then of the restricted cards, you just can't take three of them. You can take two of them, but not three.
Correct. And what they're doing is they're getting ahead of the game. They literally are getting ahead of the game and saying, hey, we know that these cards can be an issue in competitive organized play, and so we're going to implement this. No problem with that.
In certain circumstances, they can be used for much greater effect than they were intended.
Yeah. Now, like what Kathy was saying, when I first saw that, I was like, oh shit, what characters are they banning and restricting? And I was like, well, you can't really restrict characters because characters, you can only have one of them to begin with. But banning them, and I was worried when I first saw it. And they're not. They said they will never, or they're going to try their hardest never to ban or restrict or do anything to models.
Well, yeah, it's easy. They could literally just make a card pack and have, here are new rules for this person. These are the ones you use in tournament play. Look, job's done. You've balanced whatever's broken. Because it's hard. They can balance all they want internally, but they do it in play cycles.
Yeah.
Like no matter how much you try, you're not going to see as much of the old stuff when you're playtesting new stuff. Trust us, I've done playtesting for some people. You don't look at the old stuff as much as the new stuff when it comes out. And when stuff becomes a problem, it's because the way it interacts with old stuff, not because of how it interacts with new stuff. Because that's usually covered in the entirety of it.
Correct. But they did
That's
definitely said that they would not ban or restrict models. If they banned or restrict models, I mean that would be, bad.
The model
bad,
would have
bad.
to be egregious. It would be I would say, as far as the company's concerned, a fireable offense as far as lack of proper playtesting.
You would have to just rewrite the model and
Yeah, you just rewrite the model because that's like a huge
Yeah.
thing. Or you create some, I hate to say it, bullshit ruling that just makes that not work the way people were using. Because
But they haven't had to do that. So
Yep.
Acid Burn Punk, hey, how you doing? What is this from, Gonzo?
type exclamation point.
Wait.
What is it? Let's test out our new stuff.
Testing it out. There it is. What is it? There it is. There's a link to it.
It is the
It works.
Flamecia model from Infinite Heroes, or Heroes Infinite, from their 3D print, from their Carnival.
Oh yeah, it's the so Raging Heroes. I didn't realize that they have a Patreon called Heroes Infinite, and the month of October, it's the Carnival. What is it? Carnival.
Carnival or something like that. It's all
Something. It's all Halloween themed.
It's evil.
So they have
word.
They have this, and they have the
mummy.
The mummy. They have the jester that he printed out. They have the
vampire
pumpkin riding goblins that Gonzo printed out and sent to me that I was painting last week, which I will probably be painting some more. And
you know what's so funny about that, Kathy, about those pumpkin riders?
What's that?
Okay, she got them on the mail and sent me a message, and like an hour before she went to go stream, and then she's painting them. I already got them primed and painting them on stream the day hour she got them.
Yes, it's we had on Friday we developed an entire, or was it Thursday? It was Thursday. We developed this entire scenario of, this goblin culture of the pumpkin rodeo. Every October they have a festival because during the harvest, when the pumpkins come to life, they harvest them, they train them, and they have jack-o'-lantern races. They have bucking jack-o'-lanterns competitions. And my one goblin, I don't know if he just didn't get printed with his one arm.
No, he did.
His one arm is holding the stem of the pumpkin, and his other arm is like way up like this, like he's riding a bull, right? But his arm is like disappeared at the elbow. I think it broke off in shipping or something. And so I'm like, this is the one-handed guy, but his yeehaw arm broke off.
His yeehaw arm.
Yeah.
That's what I was calling it. That's his yeehaw arm.
That's his yeehaw arm.
And he, as a child, he was in a combine harvester accident and lost his arm. And still was able to become a champion bucking pumpkin rider. Yes, that's what we talk about in my painting stream. Of course they make exploding pumpkins, Legionnaires.
Also sounds like Kath needs to get the Carver model from Malifaux. Just like a big, pumpkin-headed, cleaver-wielding.
Oh, I like it already. Pumpkin-headed, cleaver-wielding. These are two key things.
Even better, he's a usable proxy in the game. He counts as Killjoy, I think, who is a cleaver-wielding nightmare machine.
Ever since I sculpted that pumpkin head on the Plague Lord, or Lord of Plagues, or, the Nurgle guy.
And Lord of Plagues, same thing?
I don't know.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. This is the GW fandom. No, they are not the same thing. How dare you get
How
the name
dare
wrong?
you?
You cannot.
What I need is
paint-
to make. I need a 20-sider that has a whole bunch of synonyms for disease and plague and, all that stuff so that I can come up with fun Nurgle names and roll it's like roll a d20, roll like 2d10, and then you get so and so the something of something.
You should do Bejel. It's Bejel. I've named a few of my characters in some RPGs, online RPGs, and Bejel is endemic syphilis.
Oh my gosh, Acid Burn Punkos, you have no idea how perfect the timing to find out. I literally just got my first 3D printer in the mail yesterday. Oh, sweet.
What'd you get? What kind of printer did you get?
Damn it.
Yes, Gonzo must know all of the things about your 3D printer now because that's his hobby.
As if podcasting and painting models and playing the games wasn't enough hobbies.
Well, having a 3D printer is a whole separate hobby.
How are we looking on that? I got one left white, and that's going to be where I hit like the really, really high spots.
So
and then I'll
with
go
your
back.
white, I would just hit the flames with the white.
Just the flames?
That is going to be the brightest spots is where the flames are.
Okay.
Always when you are
I'll use a different
painting
brush.
flames and object source lighting, the source of the light is going to be the brightest thing on the model. Always. It should be. It should be.
Unless you're Gonzo and you fuck it up.
We'd fuck it up, Gonzo.
We fuck it up, man. I use a smaller dry brush for that.
The Kitty S-Box, Kitty, QIDI S-Box,
I
Gonzo.
don't know it. A resin or FDM?
Use those fancy words again. Them acronyms.
Those acronyms.
Resin.
The resin printer? Don't know it.
Crash Rama says, I got an Epax X1 because
I
I
know
am
Epax.
lazy and wanted it as simple as possible.
Hi, Lady B.
Hi, Lady B Miniatures. So it's a printer that came out this summer.
Yeah, probably a reason why I don't know it.
Gonzo, you don't know?
I don't know it.
I think these leg ones are too tight, Gonzo. You're gonna have to take a look here.
The leg ones are too tight.
Yeah, I think they are.
You gotta sand them or.
So when I say paint the flames white, I don't mean dry brush. I mean
I know.
every part that's an actual flame should just be straight up white.
Yeah, what I'm doing is I'm getting where I can see it a little bit easier because my eyes are for shit.
Oh, I hear that. Yeah. That's the thing that I like about doing the dry brush thing is it just picks out all the little details that you would have missed and you don't, all those little things where you either didn't notice it or you're like, what the hell is this even supposed to be? And all of a sudden you dry brush and you're like, oh, it's a pickle.
Or
it's a ladle.
Is that like some sort of targeting thing over his eye, or is that hair?
Yeah.
I had that problem with the Legion model. I'm like, I don't know. It's hair. Okay, cool. Brown.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm
like
just doing
Reaper. The Reaper minis have that where they've got all these things hanging off of their belt, and you're like, is it a scroll? Is it a pouch?
I don't know. Okay.
Is it a ladle? Is it a hammer? I'm not sure.
Whatever you want.
Until then you dry brush it and you're like, oh. All becomes clear. Manion says they keep looking at 3D printing. Phoenix Paper and I were looking at 3D laser printers earlier this week. It can cut wood as well. It's a bit pricey. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
you can do with the laser printer. You can do
MDF
metal too. You can do different kinds of metal, not just wood, but you can do all kinds of different materials. You can do acrylic.
Oh,
they're
acrylic
really versatile.
printing.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that was a pain in the ass.
Did it go in?
We're not doing phrasing anymore?
Phrasing? We haven't done phrasing ever.
Oh, fair enough. Then, yeah, went in.
Good.
I don't give up easy.
Yeah, I figured you might have to do some shaving or whatever on it.
No shaving.
I'm gonna do a little bit on this skull.
Pure force. And phrasing's out the window completely.
Okay, so I got where I want to put my white. Since we're going to do object source lighting, should I do a little bit of white here on her butt where that flame
Yeah.
went? So I
Yep.
should do some white on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all the places where you think if you're visualizing where the
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 flame.
flames are gonna hit her the brightest, like on her hair
Yeah, because
and
like right along here.
any place where it's right next to where the whip is, like on her dress where it's almost touching.
Yeah, because like right here
Food
and
tag.
here.
You're rewiring your house, Legionnaires? Damn.
Sounds like fun. Not really.
No.
But good on you for doing something brave like that. Let's do this.
Captain Mizzy. I just saw that. Just finished a moderate heart attack from thinking I lost important stuff. Oh man, that's an awful feeling.
Oh. Lady B Gonzo's just trying to do the Zenithal sort of shading, pre-shading on a model. Just
And
try and do something new for that model.
and it is also setting up for object source lighting, for sure. That's what we've been talking Gonzo through today is the what I like to call my half-ass zenithal, which is all dry brushing. That's usually how I set up my models. And anytime I'm starting a model on my stream, that I'll talk my way through what I'm doing with that process. Legionnaire says we had an electrician come over and we found we have paper wrapped wiring in the house.
Ooh,
Holy shit.
that's not good.
Yeah, that sucks.
Okay. Now.
You're just hoping for another stimulus, right? Not till after the election, I suspect.
Okay. Now I'm gonna go through and.
Lady B says I've done zenithal highlighting with rattle can and then proceeded to white it all out because of my white glazes. Oh. Yeah, I've I haven't tried spraying, to be honest. I know Jim has done the airbrush zenithal, but I haven't done the airbrush and we don't do rattle can priming at all. Or any painting with spray paint. So it's for me, I always prime my models just with a brush. I just brush on the stynylrez res and then I just dry brush. Now dry brushing the stynylrez res primer doesn't really work for dry brushing because it's so thin. It's meant to go through an airbrush. It works great just to brush on the first coat of primer, let that dry, and then go in with your paints, your regular paints. Do not try dry brushing with the primer. It will fail miserably. You will be sad. I have firsthand knowledge of this because I kept trying to do that. And I'm like, why? Why won't this work? Oh, because it's too thin. And I'll forget that. And I'll start dry brushing with my white primer. And I'll be like, why? Oh, right. Whoops. So then I have to take my just straight up titanium white, acrylic paint, which is much thicker. And mix that with some other colors to get something quasi gray because it's not 100% gray ever.
I mean, no. All right.
But yeah, that's always. Lady B says Vince Venturella also talks about using dry brushing white in one direction over black. Yep, that's pretty much it. I like to use gray in between. So, like a medium gray value, sort of a right in between black and white, a gray that's kind of in between, or a value that's in between your darkest and your lightest, I should say. Because mine aren't 100% gray. Mine are always like, this is blue gray, this is purple gray, this is green gray. It's whatever colors I have mixed with white.
This is chartreuse gray.
Yeah, but it's the value that's most important, not the color necessarily. So you want that medium value right in between your darkest dark and your lightest light, and dry brush that on, and then go in with your sort of an off-white color and hit the highlights, and that's pretty much it.
What time is it, by the way?
It is 7:56 or 8:56 Eastern.
So going back to the whole Marvel thing and then making a band and restricted, since we got off on it just for a little bit, not a big deal, is it's a preemptive to help and not a nerf and invalidating purchases. And they've said that they don't want to invalidate purchases. They want to make sure that everybody knows that they can still use all the things that they bought and so on and so forth. So I think it's a good thing. It's taking the broken stuff and going, hey, we know this is not a good thing for competitive play. So,
I mean, I'll be blunt. Anyone who doesn't think this is a good thing has a problem.
yeah. I mean, we all know. I mean, John and I know the people. We've had the people on our podcast before. The team that works on it, Will Schick, is a really nice guy.
I mean, I've met several of them in person, which is a rarity.
Yeah, Pagani is really nice. They know what they're doing, and they're just making sure that they provide a good experience with these models and the gameplay. Yeah. Because while they say their game is not a competitive game, every game's a competitive game. It's whether you take it that way and you go with it, and you go too far or you whatever. Their little events that they do, yeah, they're competitive because you still have prizes and stuff that you can win, but it's not uber competitive. But they're making sure
you want to be competitive without it being a negative play experience.
Correct. So they're
talk about that because we did competitive play for MechWarrior Online, but yeah, that's maybe a topic for another time.
But I mean, they're just getting ahead of the game. So
yeah. It's a great idea to get ahead.
Yeah.
Just, we see this as a problem. Not a lot of people playing tournaments right now or any sort of events. So let's nip it in the bud while we got the chance.
Yeah. So there's no issues. I don't see a single problem with what they were doing.
Nope. Absolutely not.
Since the media section is coming up, and we wanted to talk about one subject about in the media section that is not our rating system, and that is the thought that there's a possibility that Wonder Woman will be coming direct to streaming, which I can see that happening because
maybe someone's got to blink on that, and I'm not sure who's going to do it. Because I mean, obviously, movies are done for now.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Theaters have. One theater, when my people told me that, was playing, oh, they're going to play Empire Strikes Back in the theater. I'm like, that's awesome. That's one of my favorite movies ever. I'm still not fucking going.
No.
I mean, it's not worth risking my life and the life of everyone I come in contact with.
Yeah. I mean, it's not. It's not worth it. So, them thinking, and like someone's, like one of the person was like, no, they'll never do that. I'm like, do they want to get their money back? Do they want to,
so I hope they do, but Mulan did not do well. Now, granted, that was not really a movie people were asking for. It has a lot of other baggage with it, let's say.
Correct, it did. But Bill and Ted's did do very well.
Yes, it did.
They did.
Bill and Ted has an order of magnitude less budget than something like Wonder Woman.
Correct. Because the budget for Wonder Woman was really high, and so they've got to try to make that money back.
Yep.
Because they got people to pay and all that stuff. So I mean, in my opinion, I think they should release it to stream on whatever service that they want to do, Hulu or Vudu or whatever whatever is out there that they want to release it on. Now, is it going to come at a premium price? Yeah. Am I okay with that? Depending on what the price is.
Yeah, that's the hard part is going to be getting the price right. There is a right price point, and there are a lot of wrong price points. But the biggest thing is, if you want this movie and you want this potential format to continue, if something comes out that you really want to see, you've got to see it.
Yes.
No, like, oh, let's wait. No, you got to. We control whether or not this becomes a new format. If it does poorly, it will not become a new format. Because honestly, the smart play is they know there's not enough movies in productions, and they know that there's going to be space to pull these movies out and people wanting to do it. So it might be a great idea to wait until everything's over, and then you're just going to have release after release after release after release. Because the theaters, any theaters that are left, are going to want to rapid charge, get that money, pay off any loans they had to take out to stay in business, even if they shut down. Wow, that's a little harsh. Maybe throttle back on that a tiny bit, Lady B.
What was that,
But
Hank?
you know, it might be worth it for them to hold it. But I would rather see them put it out there and have people able to see it in the meantime. It might become a new format. There are people who don't want to go to the theaters, people who don't like being around other people who would love to just have whatever food. I want a nice steak dinner or watch a movie in some cases. Jesus, at home, that's great. Whatever you want. Oh, I need to pause it and go to the bathroom. Boom. Cool. You can do that.
Keep in mind with your lightest light there, Gonzo, where the flames are, and
Yeah.
is it going to be casting shadows down underneath her dress?
Well, it's right here. Like this dress. This is gonna be the flame, and I figured it would do some OSL on this stuff right here, such as I was trying to
Mm-hmm.
hit
Yeah, I
here.
like the where the root is and
Yeah.
on the bricks right there. That's nice.
Yeah.
There
I
you go,
figured.
Joshua. You can. You just get Disney XD on your tablet and pay for it, and you can watch Mulan as much as you want on the toilet. And Lady B, I'm not saying you can't say what you want in the chat room, but that's a little harsh. I understand you may not like the Disney princesses and think they're stereotypes. That's sort of actually the point of them. But remember, there's a lot of young girls. Those are their those are their representation. All these girls who are, you know, princesses. It's inspiring to them, especially in some cases, some of the newer ones. They really like them. So I mean, it's like we say, don't yuck on someone's jump. You don't have to like it.
Yeah. Like I said, I wasn't gonna pay. I want to see the Mulan movie, but more from a review standpoint type of thing
Uh,
than because
yeah,
I want to see it. Because to me, I think they messed up. They didn't include Mushu. They're not singing the songs. It's just, it's
I
more realistic betrayal, which is okay. They're allowed to do what they want, but it's not something I want to pay a premium for.
and I would actually say that Gonzo, that actually makes it a better use of the medium change than any of the others
Correct.
because they changed the medium and they're changing enough that it is different. Um, no, not yet, Banyan. Soon Thor will be a Disney princess, but not until that movie comes out.
Yeah, not until the new one comes out.
Thor's kind of a guy. He does identify as a guy.
There is a guy right now in the movies.
So there you go. So that's interesting. I hope to see it. There's a couple guys on Twitter I follow who would love to see it like that, and I pull for him. He doesn't like going out. He's occasionally got some health problems. He wants to see it with his dog in the comfort of his home with the dog and the wife, drinking his whatever he wants to drink and
Gin and
whatever.
juice.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'm down with it. I think it's an interesting medium. Let them go with it. I hope they do it. But if you like the content they're putting out, like if Wonder Woman 1984 is the one that does it, and you guys are interested, please get some friends together, maybe just a small group, pony up the money. It's all good. Yeah, Banyan does not like gin. So to actual movies. Actually, before we do that, let's. So, Legiers, I'm more with that. Klinger and Frankenfurter are definitely much more Disney princess than Thor. I was actually watching some match clips earlier, but let's talk about that trailer. I don't know if Kathy got a chance to see it, but I know Gonzo did. The trailer for the
Animaniacs.
return of Animaniacs on Hulu.
Yes, it is coming to Hulu.
So I won't see it because I don't have Hulu and I'm not buying Hulu for Animaniacs. Sorry, I love Animaniacs, but
Yeah.
that trailer is very well done because it's a complete spoof off of Jurassic Park, and it is just top notch. Just watching it, especially if you like Animaniacs or if you like a particular scene from Jurassic Park, it's worth watching. Gonzo, did you watch 17 Things this week?
I watched. Give me 1 second.
He's got to count. It's a lot. I know Kathy watched at least one.
Uh-huh.
I watched at least one. It may be the same one.
1, 2, 3. I only watched 3 things.
Oh, very good.
Type thing. So I watched 3. Let me switch over to media section.
So, Kathy, did you watch more than one thing or just the one thing?
I did rewatch a movie today. So, yeah. I watched more than one thing.
Oh, there you go. Good. Well, you want to start with your not the thing we watched together? Watch that was the same.
Yeah. I watched
States
Sabrina, the 1995 version with Greg Kinnear and Harrison Ford, and
not the
Julia
Teenage
Ormond.
Witch.
What?
I'm with you. Not the Teenage Witch. Not
Right.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch. It's the movie Sabrina. Gotcha. I'm with you.
The movie Sabrina. The movie Sabrina. Yes, it's a romantic comedy.
Okay. That's fine.
And I didn't really expect to talk about it. I started it yesterday and I finished it today. And
did you enjoy it again?
I did. I knew it was going to happen and I still enjoyed it. It's just fun watching it all play out. The actors in it are really good.
Yeah, I mean, even Greg Kinnear is a very underrated actor. He doesn't get any credit, and he is pretty enjoyable. He's right for his role in every movie I've seen him in.
He is very right for his role in this movie as kind of like the ditzy brother who towards the end, pulls his shit together and proves that everybody has had a misconception about him the whole time. That, I mean, he actually has paid attention to the business. He actually cares about it, where everybody just kind of saw him as like the ditzy party guy who only just wanted to meet girls and screw. Trashorama says Kathy just watched the same movie every week, so you always have something to talk about. Problem solved.
Was that actually
no? What?
Was it a 90s movie? I want to say 90s.
Well, I have no clue.
Hold on. 1995.
Yeah, 1995. I did say that.
There you go. Oh, Richard Crenna is that? I like Richard Crenna.
Yeah, he's the dad of the girl that Greg Kinnear's character wants to marry. There's this whole what?
Colonel Troutman. Sorry.
I don't even remember what that's from.
Rambo.
I have no idea.
Okay.
Anyways. It's an enjoyable movie. A girl, she goes to Paris. She kind of discovers who she is after growing up with an obsession for Greg Kinnear's character, who's, I don't know, I can't remember the character's actual name. David. So she has this obsession. She goes to Paris. She meets people. She gets a life. She gets skills. She comes back. She has self-confidence. She thinks that she likes David. And then the other guy, the Harrison Ford's character, Linus, makes a play for her, but only as a business move to protect his business interests initially, and he falls in love with her, and then, they all live happily ever after.
Boom. No idea Kevin Kline spoke fluent French. Funny you should mention that, Trashorama. Since I only have one movie to talk about. I watched a video this week. It was like an interview in a car with oh god, what's his name? My brain's not working now. Give me a second here. I forgot the name. He's a director and he acts occasionally. He is the bad guy in Jack Reacher. God, that came out in 2012. Werner Herzog.
Oh yeah.
Huh.
So he's in there and he's talking about how many. He's talking about how many languages he speaks, and it's funny. He's going on and he speaks all languages, as they do for Europeans. And he gets to a point. It's like I also understand French, but I won't speak it.
Huh.
I would only do that if there was a gun pointed to my head. And then he goes on to a story about when a gun was literally pointed at his head and he had to speak French. And at the end of it afterwards, he's like, I regret it. I shouldn't have done that. I do not know what Werner Herzog's problem with the French is, but Jesus, I feel like that needs a movie in and of itself. I love Werner Herzog. He is a good director, and he is one of those character actors who proves the old adage, there are no small roles, only small actors. Because he's all in on everything he does. He is great. Any case, Gonzo, what you got?
I wanted to talk about a show that's on, like I said, it's on Netflix, but it's a CBS show, and didn't even know it was a CBS show. And I started watching it about 8 episodes in, and it's called Evil. I think I mentioned this a little bit. Evil is a show about 3 characters. One is a guy that's training to become a priest and works for the Catholic Church. The other one is a clinical psychiatrist, and she is like the skeptic. And then the third guy is like their tech guy, and like, oh, they made this happen because of mirrors or, Wi-Fi and all this other stuff. And what they do is they go around trying to find out if these serial type killers or people are possessed by demons, or it's a psychology thing, or, psychosis, or just whatever. So the series starts off with them testing it out and finding out, and like they grab a couple of things here and there, and there's still this. So far, everything's been explained. So far. But the plot has started to open up into something bigger, which is really good. Because if it's always going to be, not supernatural and realistic all the time, it's boring. But there's things that are happening in the show that are a little bit of, wait a minute, why? Okay, and I'm really enjoying it. It's got great chemistry between the characters. They all look like they work together really well. They mold together really well. Everything seems really good with this show. And right now, the main plot, I should say, or the main story has finally come through the show. I hope it gets renewed for another season. It's not canceled yet. But with COVID, you never know. But I really am really digging this. It's probably got like a, and like, I would give it maybe 1 space herpes, to it for people that just aren't into this stuff. But all the characters, even her daughter, she's got like one of the main characters. She has 4 female, 4 daughters that are like age like 7 to like 13 or something like that. And it's funny when they get on there because they kind of steal the show with their chattering and being giggly and all this other stuff. And it's a good break between the serious devil demon stuff and serial killer stuff that goes on. And it's actually really good. I'm really digging it. It's on Netflix for free, of course, and it's called Evil. Go check it out.
There you go. You give that 1 space rupee. I give the conversation in the chat room 0 space rupees. Great.
I can tell. I'm sitting here trying not to laugh while I'm talking about this. So,
or challenging me that I don't know the name of the Wonderton pet space monkey.
Oh,
Gleek. Motherfucker, it is a monkey, and I am John. I know monkeys.
I had no doubt. I said, you know your name. He's Gleek.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw it, I was like, that's it. Yep.
So what was the 2?
One where we talk about our?
Oh yeah, I got 3. My second one I watched. I got home and it was a rough day at work, and I was like, I just need to put on something that's just make me gonna just turn my brain off. And of course, Adam's Family Values
Okay.
was on
Oh
the
yeah.
the second one of Adam's Family, and it's still a great movie. It's still fun, still silly. I mean, the characters, they play everything so great in that. Um, it does go a little off board on a couple of things, but Wednesday Adam going to um, summer camp,
Summer camp, yeah.
yeah, that was just yes, Royal Julia is in, and it just they do that so well. And you just laugh because you know that this is supposed to be the complete opposite of what real life is supposed to be. They talk about, disfiguring the baby and, throwing the baby off the balcony and, all this other stuff and so on and so forth. And then you got, Morticia and him, and they're like the greatest loving couple in the entire world. And you're like, ah, it's just, they play so well with each other. And it was done so the cuts, everything was just done so good. I mean, it's a zero space herpes. There's very little room for any improvement in this movie. I wish they would do a new updated version. Yeah, a couple of goals. I agree.
They did that animated version. I didn't ever get a chance to see it, but I
I,
heard good things about it.
I've got it on my queue and I want to watch it because I see it's on there too. But I mean
Is that
another
on
one.
Hulu?
I think it was HBO Max.
Mm.
I'll check. I'll let you know
Oh, it doesn't matter. I don't have either one of those.
though.
I mean, fair.
So I
Like,
really like it.
Oh, so Trash has the question. You had to choose Adam's Family or Munsters. Which do you prefer? Not
Adam's
saying one
Family.
is bad, but which do you prefer?
Adam's Family.
Adam's Family.
that's three Adams families here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I also enjoyed the Munsters, but the Adams Family was, I don't know, was much more amusing.
Yeah. I liked their whimsy much better, and the Munsters was more of the physical comedy dad. Well, that was more of the dad joke sort of
Yes.
uh comedy, and I enjoyed the humor in the Adams family. They had that whimsical, weird, like it was the
Yes.
kind of humor that my family actually has.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah. I'm definitely Adam's Family. So y'all want to go with year two? Or
So, Kathy, what movie did you watch this week? What other movie?
What other movie did? What the movie you and I watched?
Yes.
I watched Red 2, the sequel to Red, which is the movie that I watched last week. As soon as I heard there was a sequel to that movie, I was like, I am watching it.
I also watched Red 2, the sequel to the movie I watched months ago, but not last week.
So, and I liked it just as much as the first one.
I don't know if I liked it as much, but I definitely enjoyed the crap out of it.
It was different because they weren't introducing the characters and, letting you have a chance to get to know them. But I felt like the things that were in there were still just as fun, and it was just as riveting for me. It had my attention the entire time.
Oh, and I think it definitely had a much stronger villain. We won't spoil who that villain is in case she hasn't
Yes,
seen.
Trash Rama, the first one was Red, and the second one was Red 2.
Yes, Red, standing for Retired Extremely Dangerous.
Yeah, it's Bruce Willis, and I forget the woman's name,
Mary Louise Parker.
Mary
Yes,
Louise Parker, and John Malkovich,
and
mainly.
and yeah,
But
that
and Helen Mirren. There's just
Helen
this
Mirren.
cast of incredible, even like there's cameos from other people
Yeah, and
and
the second
stuff.
one they had Catherine Zeta-Jones and Byung Hun Lee.
He was amazing.
Yes, he was very music. I actually wish we could have gotten a full movie of him and Bruce Willis playing off each other because
Oh yeah,
John
yeah.
Malkovich there, it was so good. He fit. Oh, it was great.
Weren't they weren't they thinking of doing a third one? Wasn't there supposed to be a third one, or
I
am I
think it,
imagining it?
but I don't think it did as well. And honestly, the reviews on it were not nearly as positive as
Okay.
for Red for some reason, which is weird. But I mean, it happens.
Oh, but yeah, trash. If you like an action movie,
But you got to have comedy, and
see,
it's a little out there sometimes.
it is. Well, of
Not
course.
realistic. It's not meant to be realistic. There are definitely some of that weird scenes here and there.
It is a fun ride. Both of them are. Both of them. First one, second one. I
Indeed.
will recommend them both, Trashorama.
Yeah, I recommend them both. I maybe give the second one space herpy in my opinion. It just has a slightly different style. It's a bit more fast paced though. Um, not that either one's bad at all. I would say it's slightly worse than the first one, but not much at all. I rather than just renting it for $3.99, I bought it because what the hell. If I'd thought about it, Kathy, I could have bought it on DVD. It was $3.74 on DVD.
Oh, well, there you go.
But I just bought Amazon Prime because I'm lazy. And I did it today.
John Malkovich's character is fantastic, and he cracks me up.
He seems a little less crazy in the second one, but that doesn't make him any worse. He's still
That's
pretty
true.
nuts.
He seemed a little less paranoid about things than in the first one.
Yeah. I think they realized if they kept him going, it would be too much. Sort of how, I mean, I'll use an example how Drax in the second Guardians is a bit much and not as interesting because he's just completely out there. I think they decided to throttle him back a step. He was very involved in the movie, and I mean, I really enjoyed it. There's definitely some very good moments in it. It's not your standard action movie, but I do recommend it.
My last one I just finished last night, and I watched the new Netflix series, The Haunting of Bly Manor. The Haunting of Bly Manor is about a lady. This show is based in the 80s, um, about an American that becomes pretty much a nanny to this kid's niece and nephew.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it's a huge manor. Uh, Grounds, and they've got a groundskeeper, a cook, so on and so forth. The lady that takes care of the house, and then you got the nanny, which is pretty much the teacher more than anything. Um, Now, I'm not a huge fan of horror movies because usually most horror movies nowadays are jump scare movies, which to me is a cheap and worthless way to make a horror movie. Um, make it suspenseful, make me say, oh shit, and it's scary because not the jump scares, but
It
the
doesn't need to be
sound.
scary. It needs to be suspenseful. It doesn't
Yeah.
need to scare you. It needs to keep you riveted.
Yes.
So that when something happens, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah. Well.
You can build suspense. It's what's his name? Hitchcock said.
Mm-hmm.
The gun going off isn't the suspenseful part. It is the threat of the gun going off. You need to keep that tenseness there.
That anticipation.
Yeah, and they do that really well in this. I do have to say, now in my living room, I have a 7.1 surround sound system, and my dogs hated this show because things would knock around in the room, up in like the corners of my living room and around, and things would run around in the surround sound speakers, and my dogs were going, "Oh shit!" and they would bark. So they didn't care for it too much. It was just funny something I noticed because they really did good on the sound quality. Um, it starts off kind of slow. It's I think it's 8 or 9 episodes. I can't remember. But it starts off kind of slow, and they build up and they build up, and something spooky and creepy is going to happen. They do some flashbacks with their characters, and like, oh, you got everybody in here. Yeah, but let's learn about what happened before you got here and the people that were here before you, and stuff. And by about episode 4, I'm in. Everything's good, solid, going with it. No problem. We're learning more about it. We're getting into the supernatural stuff and all the craziness and all the different characters and why everybody's starting to happen. And I'm enjoying the shit out of it. We get to the last episode and they do this. There's like I said, there's a lot of flashbacks in this, but it's appropriate type thing. And the last episode throws you for a really good loop. And it made me love the series. The last episode, I would say the last like 10 minutes of the show, I bawled my eyes out because of what was going on and how it was going. Because, like most horror movies, oh, the people win, yay, they walk away, and then it's in. No, they actually go a step further with this and everything. And it was super legit. I was floored by the ending and the way it was done. And like I said, I would cry probably about the last 5 to 10 minutes of the show because of the way the characters were, how the story ended. Because by about like episode 4, you're really into the characters and you start caring about them, and you're like, no, that person's a dick, and you're like, just beat the shit out of him, or whatever. And I really liked it. Um, no need to make another series. I think it's only listed as a limited series anyway. No need for another season. But I really, really, really liked it. Yeah, I agree, Bania. They don't make horror movies anymore. Um, it really, really, I really enjoyed it. Especially, I was riveted at the end just to see how it was going to hang out and get done. So, highly recommend it. Um, get through it. Just stick around for the end. And like I said, you don't have to stick around. It keeps you on your toes about what's going to happen and why things are happening and so on and so forth. And it's done really well. Um, there's not like I said, no jump scares. There's creepy stuff. Um, there's some good things going on with it, but I highly recommend The Haunting of Bly Manor. It gets a 0 space herpes from me type
Oh,
thing. Especially I'm watching the end of it and the music that's going on and the scene and what's happening and you know what it is and how it's. You're just like sitting there going, shit, fucking a. But it's good. It's really good. So
legit. It's always good to hear.
yeah. I did finish as a quick one. I did finish the season finale of The Boys, and it was a good season ending. Um, the you want to see some female superhero fights? That's the episode to watch. And boy, do they tear! They just beat the fuck out of people in this one. Um, I hope we get another season of The Boys, um, and that all this negative reviews because they didn't bring out the entire season. Um, I hope they do get another season because of all the assholes that downvoted it because they didn't release it all at once. But I enjoyed it. The season finale was
Which is
good.
which is weird for Amazon because there's no downside in releasing it all at once because you pay for a year. I don't think you pay monthly. So
Right.
I think they were doing it just to kind of space things out for
yeah, I
other
mean,
projects coming down the line.
yeah, let's not let's get people out of the habit of binging everything. You can binge whatever you want if it's fully released, but during release, letting things simmer a little bit, letting you get that anticipation we were talking about with horror movies, can help quite a bit. Mail order style on somebody. Well, I mean, that happens.
Yeah, that
Um,
was the female superhero fight was just balls of great.
and I will say one other thing, vaguely media related. My unit did get done with our MechWarrior Online comp playing. We've got 20 matches in, which is what you need to qualify. As long as they don't get a bunch of teams, which is never going to happen, we'll get our prizes we're aiming for. We learned a lot. It was a great crew to play against. Those guys were helpful when necessary. All of them were great sportsmen. Well, there was one team that was a little bit of dicks once, but they were just having a little bit of fun. But it was super cool. We are not the last place team. We did get kind of kicked out of the top 50. We were in the top 50 on Thursday, but we got kicked out because there's 60 some teams now. So I mean, I haven't checked to see what our exact ranking is, but we are not last place, but we are 0-20. Would you say like, wow, shouldn't you guys win at least one? The number one team is like 38-0. We played them twice. They were 36-0 before. They're probably better than that now. It is possible in this game to be that level of skill disparity, which is fine. We came in expecting that. It was super fun though. I cannot speak highly enough. This is for an online game, I had some trepidation on going into it. Always worried about those negative experiences you hear about with online games. You know, people cursing and be like,
Yeah.
"You suck! Can't believe you're that." None of that at all. Those guys are
Good.
super cool, super fun, and they're great, helpful, and I'm very pleased.
Good, because there's a lot of toxicity when it comes
Toxicity.
in
Oh,
online
oh,
competition stuff.
yes.
And to
But
hear that they weren't, that's even better.
yeah, absolutely. They were super cool. And the team, so the team's 36-0. They don't have to play any other games. No one's going to come out of the top spot, but they are playing more games because they want to help everyone else. They want to get there so all the teams can get games in, which I love. Because if they go on a bad run, they could theoretically go to second place. I don't think it's really likely, but it's possible. And it's cool, though. I was very pleased. Zero space please.
Which, guys, that's about the end of the podcast tonight. We appreciate you listening. We appreciate everybody that listens. Make sure you go check out our Facebook page. Make sure to check out Kathy Tuesday through Friday. And every other Sunday?
Every other Sunday until I get this Gundam kit done.
And such.
Another one sent to her.
So, not next Sunday, but the Sunday after that, I will be doing that. I'm sorry, John. I interrupted you.
He was trying. Go ahead and say it now, real loud.
No, that's fine.
Unless someone else sends you another one.
Unless someone sends you another one.
Oh, geez. Sidestore was already talking about me doing a master grade 1.
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah. So.
He's like, I think you're ready.
I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah. That master grade I did was fun. But guys, please take care of each other. Look after each other. You see something going on, say something. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. If you need anything, look us up. You can find us all on Facebook. We'll come and hang out. We ain't got a problem with it.
Some of us on Twitter. Kathy and I are both on Twitter.
Yeah, everybody. We'll be willing to come and help everybody out and do stuff. Especially if you have questions. Please check out Kathy though, because she does some amazing miniatures. Pretty soon maybe we can get John to stream some MechWarrior stuff for fun. No.
Hashtag John playing MechWarrior Trevor. The only reason I don't is because it gets a little weird having the unit on that. So
Yeah.
I have to look into some stuff because I play most of my drops with them because
yeah, you got to just clear it,
make sure.
more
fun to play this game with people.
Yes. So, all right, guys. For More Than Dice, I'm Gonzo.
I'm John.
Good night, everyone.
Before we leave, we need to connect on Facebook. I have a model I'm looking at and can use your advice.
Well, first off, I'm trying to use Kathy with
Yes.
Yes.
Kathy with
now
a C.
you can say anything.
Oh, you say something to the baby on.
Yeah, so maybe get on.
We'll have John go down and stab him again.